What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my Twisted Life of TV. I am Poetry. You are here for another recap and review of The Handmaid's Tale. This is season 5, episode 8. We are almost done with this season. And child, it has been a struggle for me to get through these last few episodes. This one is called The Motherland. First of all, I was insulted by the title once I realized what he is considering the motherland. But I think I was just insulted this entire episode, these last few episodes, because I believe that this season they are really playing with my feelings. They are really trying it with me, with The Handmaid's Tale. Let me get into it. Hopefully I can get my point across without getting upset again. But I may piss some people off this review. I may piss some people off. If you're still watching, thank you for being here. If this is your first time here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We will be reviewing the final season of The Handmaid's Tale. Hopefully I will be able to keep on schedule. If you've been around this channel, you know why I haven't been here. Okay, so here we go. It's been a month. It's been a month since Serena Joy got detained after giving birth to baby Noah. And the whole gang is together over at June's house. The whole gang being June, Moira, Luke, and Rita. So they all over her house. And Serena, like I say, is locked away in the Canadian immigration detention. Little Gummy is supposed to be in Child Protective Services, but we find out later in this episode that Gummy Bear is somewhere else entirely. In the place that he's at. I'm like, excuse me? If you don't know who Gummy Bear is, that's Noah. That's Serena Joy's baby. Okay, so Moira, she's all happy. Luke seems like he's ecstatic over the fact that Serena Joy is in jail. But June, not so much. She in her feelings. I don't know. She wanted to be Captain Save Serena, you know what I'm saying? And Luke stole it from her, pretty much. Throughout this episode, there are instances where things that I have said, like that she thinks Serena Joy is her friend. Some of those things, the storyline kind of debunked, but June's action, the way they are writing her character, tells me differently. Hold on for a second, y'all. All right, so I'm out here with all the nature sounds, and my dog is out here too. So if you hear him grunting like he just did, that's why. I got a lot of notes, y'all. A lot of notes. So let's try to get through this, okay? So me and Luke, we looking like, why is June in her bag about Serena being in Joy? Serena starts to call, and she's been blowing up their phones. Why Serena got their cell phone numbers, I don't know, but she blew up their phones. Now, I remember her calling Rita early on when she first arrived in Canada, so she's been calling Rita repeatedly. Rita said that she only answered her the first time, and she ain't answered no more. What it seems like Serena Joy is trying to do is get them to advocate for her so she can live amongst them and be free up in Canada. Like I said, I believe this show wants us to believe that Serena Joy has been redeemed, especially the way they wrote that baby episode, her childbirthing episode. They want us to believe that she is redeemable, that she, and that the actions that are happening to her is exactly what she deserves. I believe they are what she deserves. However, I don't think that they are really giving her the fullness of what she deserves. She's just getting a tad bit, scotchy day of what she really deserves. Okay. But yeah, June said, she didn't do all this for Serena. She did this for Noah. She didn't want her baby to die out there in the woods. Tell the lie to yourself, child. Tell your lie to yourself, because I don't believe it. Now, Gummy Bear, he played a huge part in your decision, yes, indeed. But you, indeed, wanted to save Serena Joy. As angry as you were, as vengeful as you wanted to be, you now feel that she didn't deserve nothing to come to her, no justice to come her way. That's how you feeling? I don't believe it, June. I don't believe it. Okay, outside the house, though. Now, remember we had the protest that the Canadians want us to get the hell out of their country. And they are portraying, it seems, as if they are MAGA people. Okay? Make Canada great again type of people. That's what's going on. They coming by the house screaming and cussing. Go back home. This is our land. This, that, and the third, right? The Canadians are restless. And I still don't understand this whole setup. I still don't understand it. One, how they know where they live. How they know who is the Canadians and who are not the Canadians. there, I heard them mention a couple times that Canada has a little America within it. But I know for a fact that when they first arrived in Canada and they were going through the refugee processing center, they said that the Americans are spread out over Ontario. They're spread out. They are not just centrally located in one neighborhood, on one street, on one block. No, ma'am. But that's how they are writing this. Like, the Canadians just all decided to get up and come over and protest and walk down their street and march and cuss them out and put graffiti all over the sidewalk to tell them to go back to America that don't exist any fucking more. You know, I don't believe it. I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. I have been to Toronto. I've been to Canada, and I have experienced some sorts of racism up there. However, it had nothing to do with them thinking I was American. It had to just the fact that I was black. That's what that was about. Okay, and yeah, so this whole storyline, I just don't like the way they writing it. I'm not buying it at all. But I understand they needed a reason to get the handmaids back to New Bethlehem. Okay, so because that's exactly what's going on. We go over to Commander Lawrence, Commander Blaine, and the rest of the council. And he is showing them New Bethlehem, this one neighborhood that seems to be in pristine condition. It looks like it was a brand new starter neighborhood. Nobody ever got to move in, I guess. No homes were destroyed. Areas wasn't bombed. You know, you could see that Commander Lawrence has the people out there maintaining the grass. I mean, the properties look immaculate. Very much so different in comparison to where they are in Gilead. Everything seems dark and dusky. Remember I talked about in earlier seasons how dim the lights were looking and why it don't look like they right here turning the damn lights on. And it's always like you could see the sun coming through the window and you can see the dust just floating in the air. Not in New Bethlehem. New Bethlehem is pure. This is what God meant for us to have. It's basically the imagery that I'm getting from how New Bethlehem looks and how Commander Lawrence is selling New Bethlehem. Now, what I find interesting is Commander Lawrence's rise to power. Now, remember, he was a peon. They only kept him around because he had economic knowledge. And his economic knowledge was helping Gilead sustain as a whole. Okay, Gilead everywhere was based off of his economic structure. The toxic wastelands were part of his economic structure. The trade and exports and imports is part of his economic structure. Well, now it seems like since they have killed Commander Putnam, that they have somehow rose to power, and now the council is following him, which didn't make no sense to me at all. Okay, I understand y'all taking some caution and some, about him killing Putnam, but it's still more y'all than it is him and Nick. Still more y'all. Y'all could have took him out. If y'all really agreed with Putnam's philosophies, y'all could have very well took him out. Now, the Wheelers, from what I was understanding, the Wheelers are not part of the sons of Jacob. They are not part of the council at all. Ryan Wheeler, he's not part of the council at all. They are Canadians who just support Gilead. So the fact that they are considered to be on Gilead soil in Canada really trips me out. Or it's not that they're on Gilead soil, but it seems like they have some type of diplomatic immunity. But they are Canadian citizens who've always lived in Canada. They're just really wealthy, and they just support the ideologies of Gilead. But anywho, so they got them out there. They showing them the grounds where these runaway slaves are going to come back home. That's how I took that. He ain't promising them 40 acres and a mule, but they will get a nice little house, probably a bus pass, and they may be able to see a family every once in a while now and again. Now, Putnam had already shot down this idea, right? But when they shot down Putnam, the idea of New Bethlehem was able to be come to fruition a little bit more easy. You know what I'm saying? We learned later on in that episode that New Bethlehem was always the way that Commander Lawrence wanted Gilead to look. And he'd been working on that for years. Now, mind you, it's been 7 years since June was captive. And Gilead had been going on for a long time. So it's been decades. Not Gilead. The Sons of Jacob regime has been going on a long time. So it had been decades that Commander Lawrence was trying to push this New Bethlehem idea. And now all of a sudden, since they took out Putnam, he's able to push it forward. Doesn't make sense for me. Anyway, he was getting a little bit of pushback from the council, but until they reminded him, look, we took out Putnam, we'll take you out too. They said that, but not in those exact words. But that's exactly what they were saying. So, like I said, apparently the death of Putnam has stricken fear into the men that have no fear. Okay? It doesn't make sense. They don't fear nobody but God. But now, all of a sudden, this one act, they finna succumb to Commander Lawrence's, who I call Commander Joey. I'll be flip-flopping through the episode. They're going to succumb to his way with the assistance of Nick Blaine. Okay. One guy even begged him for forgiveness for speaking out of pocket. I didn't mean to think back on the dead Putnam's ideas. I didn't mean to do that. Please forgive me. Oh, I forgive you. I was like, get the fuck out of here, right? Anyway, all these years, Commander Joey Lawrence has been secretly working against Gilead for his own agenda. It wasn't for the benefit of the handmaids. It wasn't for the benefit of society. It's for his own personal agenda. He thinks he's God. Okay? And he thinks that he's the one who single-handedly saved humanity. That's basically the whole gist of it. He thinks he's the one that single-handedly saved humanity, right? So now, all of a sudden, this public shooting of Putnam has made them rise in power. It just doesn't make sense to me. I find the transition odd. Okay, so now Commander Lawrence is going to freely travel back and forth to Canada to convince at least 100 families to come to New Bethlehem. You know he's going to start with June first, because if June comes, everybody else is going to follow. June is the Great White Hope. Okay, she's the White Harriet Tubman. She's the Pied Piper, so to speak. I'm gonna go more with the Pied Piper, because the Pied Piper is using this music to manipulate the rats and whatever else was following him. You know what I'm saying? And that's what June does. She uses manipulation tactics to get people to follow her and make them believe that they doing so willingly on their own. Okay. Anyway. He said something along the fact that Toronto is getting tired of our people. They're getting tired of our refugees. And he's getting tired, and Toronto is tired of paying for them. I wasn't sure if he was saying Toronto is providing Gilead with restitution pay for the people escaping, or he's just talking about footing the bill for them having houses and homes and jobs and things like that. So I was confused a little bit by that, but y'all help me out what y'all think down in the comment section. Okay, so what's crazy is I thought that they had no issues at all with Toronto accepting these people into June's arrival. But again, later on in the episode, we hear Moira say, well, when Luke got there, everything was hunky-dory. But when she got there, people were starting to get a tad bit annoyed. But I think mainly because of June's actions, that everybody is starting to feel the weight of the Americans' presence in Canada or in Toronto or in Little America, whatever little part they're in. Anywho, just based on the opening scene, I think Commander Joey is going to use Hannah to get June to come back. That's been the repeated pattern with him and Nick. They use Hannah to manipulate June into thinking their idea is a good idea or their idea is the best way. They always use Hannah, and we know that because June is very selfish, rightfully so, when it comes to her child. She's going to do whatever it takes to come there for her child. This idea of going to New Bethlehem is going to be promising for her. Trust and believe it, okay? So Commander Joey, he feels that they could run two separate countries or two separate systems in one country the way that Hong Kong does it. One that's going to follow the rule of Gilead to the T, okay? And another that they're going to have more free will. They can come and go as they choose. These are the people who have wanted to run away. These are the people who want to defect. They can go to Gilead and still live a good life. There won't be any democracy there, okay? And they're going to keep it hush-hush. I don't know how. Well, he explained how they're going to keep it hush-hush. Because the people in Gilead have no access to free press. So it's not that they will know that New Bethlehem exists. Now, New Bethlehem people still know that the Gilead people exist. But I guess they just not going to give a fuck no more. Once that because they can see they have access to their loved ones. The thing that gets me is like, so they're going to have access to these loved ones. The loved ones not going to go back and tell people in Gilead. So they're going to put these loved ones in New Bethlehem with them, is what they're saying. That's what I got from it, okay? He believes that setting up these two political or religious societies within one country, that they're going to be able to neutralize the threat of democracy. And one of the guys was like, so that means, but I still get a vote about this, don't I? You know what I'm saying? No, you don't. You really don't, okay? Now, June said that Serena Joy was in desperate need of somebody to advocate for her. And I was like, you this desperate girl. We go over to the jail. She's over there breastfeeding, you know, feeling all lonely and destitute. And who comes in to see her but Alanis Wheeler? You was that desperate, girl. You feared for your fucking life and your child's life, that you were on the run for them. And this is the person that you called up to take care of your baby, to get your child out of foster care. You think that living with Alanis, the Wheelers, under the Gilead regime, which you hate so much, or you despise at this particular point in your life, because you flip-flop back and forth whether or not you want to follow it or not, you think that being with them was the better option than giving your child freedom? So you call her? I'm disappointed in you, Serena Joy. I'm disappointed in you. She was trying to explain to Alanis, like, girl, you know my hormones during pregnancy had me tripping. I did not mean to shoot Ezra, you know what I'm saying? My bad. I believed he had on the vest, so I knew he wasn't going to die, girl. I knew that. And Alanis was like, this is exactly why you shouldn't have your baby. Because you're crazy. You need to get your shit together, girl. That's what you need to do. And Serena's like, what you mean? My mental state is together. She was like, no, you flipping out. I know hormones make you crazy, and you've been proving it. That's what you've been doing. So Serena Joy, she says, what'd she tell her? She says, because the baby is tripping, Noah's tripping, he crying, he won't eat, he doing the same thing that Janine's baby was doing, right? And so remember, they had to send Janine to her side to coddle her, to nurture her, to feed him. So that's what Serena Joy is saying. My baby just need love, okay? He needs somebody to touch him, hold his hand, talk to him, sing to him, all that kind of stuff. He just need affection. And Alanis is like, no, you don't. He need the iron fist. He need to be ruled with an iron fist. He needs some tough love. He need to cry it out. Wah! Cry it out. Okay? So Serena say, look her heifer. I know what the hell my damn baby need. And she tell her, no, you don't have the mental fortitude to tell me what your baby needs. I'm the one that's taking care of him. Serena saying, despite what the writers have done with my character, despite them trying to right my wrongs away, W-R-I-T-E, right my wrongs away, and make the viewers believe that I had nothing to do with the creation of Gilead, that I have been redeemed, you know what I'm saying, that I am just a victim of Gilead. Let me tell you something, Alanis. Bitch, I have overthrown a whole fucking country. Did y'all peep that? She said, I have overthrown a country, and I still was able to give birth to a healthy baby. Okay? I know what my mental fortitude is. Okay, you can't tell me nothing about my mental stability. And so Alana say that talking right there, the way you talk right now, exactly why we know you crazy. Alana said, "Hey, look here, you in here. What you gonna do? I'm the one that got him out there. You worry about yourself. That's what you need to do. Worry about yourself. I take care of Noah." Okay. So, where was I at? Oh my goodness, Serena. I said if Serena get June on that phone, she's probably gonna try to convince her to go kidnap Noah from the Wheelers family. You know what I'm saying? Well, back at the June's house, the protesters died out, it looks like. I mean, it's a few stragglers still coming around. Some crazy people, you know, driving down the street real fast and gunning their engine when they get in front of you. Why do people do that? Like, what does gunning your engine on your vehicle do to me? That's supposed to scare me, I guess. Okay, anywho, they out there scrubbing off the graffiti off the sides of the street. And Luke was like, "Hey, look, y'all handle this. This ain't my speed right here." And June said, "Yeah, I know. We used to do this back at the in Gilead. We used to have to scrub the blood off the wall. Scrubbing blood and scrubbing off paint ain't the same thing, sis. I know you want everything to be about you and your struggles to Gilead, but it is not the same thing." June always tries to find a way to make Luke feel small. She always tries to find a way to destroy his manhood, emasculate him, and she does it every chance she gets. And I'm probably the only person that cares because I am not the person that hates men. I'm not. And they are really writing this show, at least these past 2 seasons, with the very intention for us to hate men. And that's just not me. Okay, anywho. Well, while she out there, June's phone ring. I say it's either Serena Joy or it's Commander Joy. And lo and behold, it was Commander Joy right on time. Because they was just talking about we need to get the hell out of Toronto. Okay. But where do we go? Alaska, Hawaii, those are the last 2 American states that's remaining. Now the whole country of America has not been officially taken over by Gilead, but none of them are with America anymore. Like, remember Chicago still had a hold down, Texas still had a hold down. Because I remember back in the season 2, the Mexican government was saying that Texas still wasn't taking over. There's rebels still holding it down. So they have not allowed Gilead to 100% take over. Why my phone dying already? It's only on 15%. I need to get to this. My phone about to die. Okay, anywho. So he comes in and he said he wants to have a talk with her. So she go meet up with Commander Joey. He lay out the whole little spiel about New Bethlehem. She came under the assumption that he had information about Hannah. I don't even understand what the... Anyway, I digress. When she finally grasped that what he was talking about was for her to come home, and I'm gonna put in quotation marks home, because he called it come back to the motherland. Ain't nothing motherlanding about that. That ain't Africa, bitch. You ain't African or African at all. You ain't neither one, African or African, neither one. Okay, that is not the creation of civilization. That ain't what that is. Not New Bethlehem. Anyway, I do wonder where is Africa in all of this. Anybody remember, did they ever mention what's going on in Africa? I don't remember. Like we know in the UK, in England, a lot of Gilead influence is present. That's the people that they trade with the most. We know Switzerland is still neutral, kind of. Canada, they have a lot of them living up there, but they're not taken over by the sons of Jacob, you know. What happened to Africa? I need to know. Okay, anyway. So, all this conversation about New Bethlehem was bullshit to June's ears, initially. Until he told her he can reunite her with Hannah, her adult child, Hannah. Now, Hannah's only 12, baby. Ain't no adult in her, but she's 12. And she could visit Hannah at the house that she's going to be running. Now, Again, in order for Gilead not to know that New Bethlehem exists, she can't be going back and forth to Gilead. Hannah cannot be going back and forth to New Bethlehem. Hannah has to live in New Bethlehem. So you're trying to tell me that they are still going to have houses in New Bethlehem where the Gilead regime is still happening? Like Canada? Because the Wheelers and the handmaids and Marthas that are going to return to live there in this non-democratic state are just going to be so happy-go-lucky to see a family that is still being raped and tortured and abused, and in this particular case will become the rapers and torturers and abusers. Just as long as they living together, everything's going to be hunky-dory. Anyway, Hannah due to be married off any day now, okay? But like he said, he could bring her. He can guarantee their safety because Nick is going to be there too, okay? Nick will keep her safe. He said he'd been grooming Nick for this position. But when we looked at it a little later on in the episode, it don't look like Nick is happy about being groomed. But he tell her to think about it. So she go home to talk it over with Luke. He thought about it and was like, yeah, no. I don't trust him. I don't trust Gilead. But June is considering that. I told you that she would, right? I'm with Luke on this. Who the fuck cares what they think? You know, who the fuck cares what they say? It does not matter. Why in the hell do you trust him? Okay? Because he said Hannah. He said the word Hannah. Well, girl, he said Hannah many a times to you. And each time, like I said, he's been using Hannah to manipulate your ass. When the fuck are you going to learn? Well, me and Luke, we don't believe him. Okay. June is going to convince Luke to do her will. That's the way she is. That is her character, right? She will be happy to go back without him because she thinks she probably can get Nick back. She done stole a man before. She'll do it again. Okay. Anywho, with Luke, they monsters. Fuck the oppressors. That's how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? You want to make a deal with the devil. You want to make a deal with the people who are marrying off our 12-year-old child into they sex trafficking our 12-year-old child. That's what they doing. Let's just be honest, right? But she like, no, that's why we need to be there with her. That's why we need to be there with her. No, that's why we need to get her the fuck out of there. That's our only agenda, period. That's all it is, right? So I say she about to gaslight him. She about to manipulate his ass, make him feel small and tiny and emasculated as a man, you know. She was like, he has helped me. He's been helping me. He's helped Mayday. He did this. He helped Emily get out. He helped Nicole get out. And he's done all these things with no benefit to him. Do you think that he's really done all this shit with no benefit to him? He has just rose in power. He's finally, after decades, about to get New Bethlehem off the ground. And you think that he has not benefited from this? He is now about to run Gilead the way that he thinks it should be run in the first place. She said, he's my friend. I'm telling you, after all these years, probably around season 2 or season 3, when Elizabeth Moss got involved with the directing and production of this show, I feel like they have been grooming us as viewers to fall for the okie doke. They've taken this heinous act, put it in front of us, made us feel compassionate and compelling towards the victims, right? Made us, I'm going to say us, but it ain't been me, made us forgive the victim's own faults over and over again because of the situation that she's in. Made us not hold her accountable for the many lives that she has affected in a negative way. Made us overlook her non-accountability. Made us overlook her manipulation. Like I said, I'm going to say us, but it's not me. Okay. They have tried to convince us that she is the Harriet Tubman of the century, that she is the great white hope. And because they these situations are so relatable to people of color. People of color is a term I hate to use because I normally say black people, but I'm going to say people of color because if you look worldwide, majority of these things are happening to people of color. So it fits, but I think we are being groomed the same way that Commander Lawrence said he's been grooming Nick. I think we have been groomed as a viewership to think that this is how we should act as well. Okay. That we should be more Christian-like,